In Silksong, the Weavers had a final desperate plan to defeat Grandmother Silk. It took years of planning and only worked thanks to one of the strongest displays of motherhood in the game. This is the lore of Herrah the Beast. So the Weavers put Grandmother Silk to sleep and decide they need to create a being that can rival her power. In order for this being to have enough strength, it probably needs to be pale, and their first attempt at this was Eva. But Eva failed, so their new plan was to flee Farloom to buy themselves some time to create a child that would actually work. A rune harp says we shall die and wait and pray that one may come of silken strength enough to weave us free. Some of these Weavers fled and arrived in Hallow, and this is where Hera comes into play. It's unclear whether Hera was a first-generation Weaver that came from Farloom. I tend to think that she wasn't, but she eventually becomes queen of the Weavers in Hallow. And an interesting note about Hera's character is that she comes from relatively humble beginnings. Her partner was of an honored caste, but a lore tablet describes Hera as a common beast, and I think this common upbringing is the central part of Hera's character. You see, eventually the Pale King comes to her and asks her a favor. He wants her to help him seal the Black Egg, and she agrees if he will have a child with her. This is the exact thing that the Weavers have been looking for, a pale being that they can create a child with. And so Hornet is born, and everything is going to plan. She can be raised and trained to defeat Grandmother Silk. But here's where things take a somewhat ironic twist. As a new mother, Hera realizes that she doesn't want her daughter to merely be a piece on their chessboard. She tells Hornet, "Ignore them, daughter, they're whispers. Weaver, guardian, queen, those are their desires, not your own." Perhaps it's Hera's humble upbringing that makes her want to give Hornet a normal life away from the fights of gods. But ironically and beautifully, this act of motherhood and self-determination allows Hornet to grow into the bug that she becomes. Hornet is given the choice to become the weapon that the Weavers of old prayed for so many years ago. Subscribe for more.